The chieftains of the Talistobogi tribe had a reputation for recklessness, even among their fellow Gauls. The truth of their character, though, is a little more complicated. In reality, they were, like many of the migrating tribes, a people cut in twain. Half of their number had settled in Thracia following Brennus' invasion of Greece. The others, being more impetuous, instead decided to accompany Leonorius into Anatolia. In the long term, of course, the latter group had amply proved the truism that fortune favours the bold, or perhaps that fortune loves a fool. Either way, they now ruled a large quarter of the Galatian kingdom and its riches. The Tetrarch Adbitos was one of their number, but not content with the fortune and lands that were his already, he aspired to greater things. His liege, Moreos, the chieftain of the Talistobogi, resided in Rhodes at this time, organising the defence of the island against pirate raids, which were a scourge upon the eastern Mediterranean. Thus, when Magarix called upon the Talistobogi to join his invasion of Thrace, it was Adbitos who led their warriors north, and it was Adbitos who was tasked with the defence of the Straits. To his credit, when the Thracian levy reinforcements made the crossing, he defeated them, in accordance with the overall strategy mandated by the king. This, however, is where naked ambition and that old reputation for foolhardiness took over. Adbitos crossed the Bosphorus and began marching his troops up the Black Sea coast, where he reached the town of Anthea, which he seized after a brief siege. Thankfully for the king, Adbitos had at least consented to send word of his expedition back to Nicomedia, thus probably avoiding much calamity later on, though he would never realise it. To the north, the adrisians still had a sizable army, as well as a fleet of raiding ships, and it's taken me some time to puzzle out just what Adbitos' plan was, but at last I believe I'm able to divine some of it. I learned from a slave who'd been taken by the adrisians and subsequently later traded back to the Gauls that some weeks before the Thracian host arrived at the gates of Anthea, Adbitos had dispatched messenger riders, presumably to call for reinforcements, but curiously, the riders travelled west and not south. It is my belief, therefore, that Adbitos sought to enlist the aid of his estranged kinsman, both to defend his gains and, quite probably, in the fullness of time, to advance his ambitions in Anatolia. I cannot prove this, of course, but it would be quite in character for the man, who made no attempt to conceal his contempt for the house of Magarix, and had only grown bolder with an army of near 6,000 warriors at his beck and call. In the event, his kinsman did not aid him in time for the battle. Perhaps they arrived too late, or perhaps they never meant to aid him at all, but either way, Adbitos and his warriors would now face the adrisians entirely alone, with the king's army at least a month's march away. When King Magarix learned the news, as you can probably imagine, his reaction was mixed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Rome 2 Total War. It's the Galatian campaign, and Adbitos of the Talistobogi is caught in a sticky wicket. The Thracians are here, the adrisians have arrived. There's a small army of them there, there's a larger army of them there, and there is a fleet of the buggers too, just for good measure, counter-attacking Anthea. His slightly bruised army with his Thracian mercenaries reinforcing him are going to have to try and face off against all this. This could be where Adbitos finds out he's bitten off more than he can chew. The auto-resolve certainly seems to think so. Yeah, should be good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the weather they've laid on for us is obviously dreadful, but the tribe's ready to defend the town. We find ourselves now in the position that our enemies did very recently. However, hopefully we're going to do a more competent job of defending the place. At least that's the idea. So, folks, let's have a little overview. You may remember this is the corner. We attacked from over here when we came into the place. This is the corner where we got into a bit of a bottleneck. I'm hoping the same will happen again, actually. What we've got over here is, over here we've got a series of spike pit traps. Enemy walks over this, falls in, spikes, dead. Very nice. We might have a few over here as well. I can't remember where I actually put my other set of spike traps. I don't really recall. I'll check in a minute. But then beyond that, we've got these brimstone pits which can be set on fire. Theoretically, it's raining right now, though, so I don't know if that will help or hinder us. Beyond that, we've got these caltrop things, which are for repelling cavalry, and a line of stakes, which are also for repelling cavalry. The enemy does have a significant cavalry force. Some of it we can already see deployed all the way out here at the moment. So that's something we're going to need to deal with. So this corner of the town square, the market square, is fairly heftily defended. I've got a unit of our shield wall spearmen, and then behind them some naked fanatics. In the center of the market, we've got basically all the local militia guys, a lot of which consists of armed citizenry with clubs. So they're hopefully not going to contribute to the fight at all, actually. They're just sort of there cowering, basically, in the middle. I've got a small unit of archers here, and their job hopefully is basically going to be to shoot over the tops of these guys, and actually mostly, I hope, set the brimstone pits on fire at the appropriate moment. Over here, there's a barricade set up to cover this bit. The enemy can batter their way through that probably in no time at all, but over behind it we've got a unit of skirmishers who can chuck javelins at the enemy as they're trying to break through the barricade, and behind them a unit of shield wall spearmen and Adbitos himself with his noble spearmen as well. Guarding their right flank down this approach, we've got the armoured swordsman, the old noble swordsman, and then guarding this wider approach here, I've got all of our Thurius spearmen out defending that. Over here, we've got a bunch of horses. These are the baggage train. However, I've dismounted them, and the baggage train themselves are on foot in the middle of the town square. It's these guys here. Guys and girls, actually, technically speaking, but yeah, they're all hanging out here in the market. The dogs are here in the market as well. I'm going to unleash the hounds on whichever direction feels like the right one to unleash them on in the heat of the moment. Over here at the edge of town, we've got the chariots, and we've got our single unit of cavalry, because I want these guys to be potentially mobile and outside. The chariots in particular, if we can use them at the right moment, they could be devastating, I hope. Over here, at the approach to the dock, we've got a double-layered barricade, and behind that, some sharp rocks, which are basically slow enemy units down when they try to cross them. A unit of skirmishers for throwing javelins over the barricade, and just behind them, another tiny unit of archers to do the same thing. Backing them up, our third unit of shield wall spearmen, who... don't know what's going on there, but okay. Yeah, they're covering the approach as well. These guys are going to try and withdraw through this at the appropriate moment, I hope. And then in the back here, in reserve, we've got all of the Thracian mercenaries with their big Romfires and Foxes and stuff. Ready to sort of charge in and plug any gaps, I hope. Maybe, if we can, get them out and then flank around and hit something in the rear, potentially. I don't know how this is going to go. The enemy try to attack multiple directions at once. Alternatively, they may just be idiots and pile in all in one direction. Didn't mean to do that. I think I just moved the dogs, didn't I? That's fine. So I don't know what to expect from this. They've got a lot of their army coming in on ships, it looks like. I can see some... These are transport ships, these. And then they've got a big longship thing here as well. I don't know how much of their army is actually coming in on land versus via the sea, which is obviously going to dictate a lot of how this goes. Anyway, we've got most of the approaches to the middle of town covered. And now we're pretty much just going to hope for the best, I think. I'm going to just check. Where did my second unit of pit traps end up? Right, we've got these ones here. And, I put the other unit over here. Basically, yeah, covering this approach right here. In fact, I'll just bring it back in a little bit here so it's directly in front of the Thurius guys. So if the enemy comes charging down here, they'll run into a bunch of spiky pits, which works for me. Just got to remember not to bring anybody across this. This area here is a minefield. Don't cross that. All right, there we go. We're ready to rock and roll, everybody. We're going to find out how this is going to shake out pretty soon. I don't know what to expect. I've just tried to cover all angles and hope for the best, really. Wish me luck. Here they come, little brother. Their main land armies arrived from this direction. They're making a beeline directly for the town, I am now noticing. Interesting stuff. They brought up this little unit of cavalry, and they're having a little javelin skirmish over here. Which is, honestly kind of annoying. I don't think I can use flaming shot because it's raining. It's very annoying. Can we try and set those on fire somehow anyway? Oh, never mind. They're going straight into the stakes. I think shooting them with the bowman actually prompted them to make that catastrophically poor decision. Alright. We've got similar going on over here. They've met the barricade. A lot of javelins stuck in the barricade.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
They're in amongst the baggage train at the moment. Oh, you guys! Oh, no, no, no. I didn't even notice this. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, my poor chariots. They're routing. Ah, that's really annoying. That is super, super annoying. I don't know what to do with you guys now. Never mind. It's going to be down to the infantry in the middle, I think. So they're all coming in down this way, so they're going to run into the spike traps, it looks like, yeah. Getting plenty of javelins from the defending Thurius guys. You go hide in the woods or something for now. It looks like
one of our units has used
their fleet has arrived. They're piling out of their boats onto the beach down here. These guys are not quite there yet. Alright, so far so good. How are we going over here with the barricades? We're okay. They haven't really tried to break down the barricade. They're just chucking javelins over it at the moment. And getting the worst of it by the looks of things too. Same over here. Oops. Didn't do that. Really could have done with some more missile troops on this battle, to tell you the truth. What are you guys doing? Oh, you actually ran out to set those on fire. That is not what I expected you to do, but okay. I'd like to get you over there, if we can. Actually, can we bring the skirmishers over here? You do more good up there at the moment. They're just chucking javelin after javelin after javelin at us. I mean, they're going to have to run out of these things eventually. We're just concerned at the casualties we are taking in the meantime. Okay, so they are trying to charge in amongst the noble swordsmen. Right, the swordsmen aren't spearmen, but I think they'll probably win that fight anyway. You guys out of ammo? Yeah, you are. Let's pull you back then. I might bring up... Yeah, let's bring up some of the Thracians to support this a little bit. Although I'm pretty sure the enemy cab's getting the worst of it here. They're actually trying to... Yeah, they're actually going for the barricade now over here. Alright, skirmishers. Concentrate fire there. I'm going to send in these Thracians here. Have we actually made contact with the enemy here? We have. Okay.
Spears! Got too slow! Get running! Get moving! Run! Orders!
They're all kind of stuck up in the middle here, aren't they? What they're doing. There's a big old traffic jam at this end, though. Okay, there's cavalry trying to charge in. Now they're going head first into the shield wall, though, which, as you can see, is not ending well for them. Yeah, they've made some holes in the barricade now. Okay, getting a bit of lag now. It's starting to feel like an Attila battle. Let's envelop these guys slightly. If they're just going to go narrow right down the middle of this bit here, then I don't see why we shouldn't take advantage of that. Or have they got a medium melee infantry? I think I see... What are these guys here with the really big two-handed spears? Those are interesting. Obviously they don't have any... What do we got shooting right now? Oh, it's the naked fanatics at the back here. They're throwing some of their jabs in. Interesting. Let's bring you guys up a bit, actually. Same goes for you. Alright, some of the guys are dismounting here at the docks. Dismounting, disembarking.
Galatian!
Gonna move you over here.
Battle ready and eager! What do we say?
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Warriors! Ready! Your orders?
Combat even. That's mostly what I'm seeing right now. These cavalry have managed to successfully hide in the woods. Might be able to use them for something now. I'm not sure what's going on here. All just heading into town single file over here. Very interesting. It's quite the mosh pit here, isn't there?
Spearmen!
They're just throwing everything in the kitchen sink right down the middle here, aren't they?
Yours to command!
Don't think it's doing any favours for them tactically, though.
Missile infantry at your orders! Ready!
Let's pop and inspire, shall we?
Many troops awaiting orders! Galatian noble!
I think I'm going to reform the shield wall here. Like so.
Grecian warriors!
The enemy's basically, after this
One of our
disaster
units has
they
used all
had
its
over here, they've paid no more attention to any of this at all.
Galatians!
So I think I'm going to bring up this unit of shield wall guys over here as well.
Warriors!
Got another unit of shield wall guys here. However, the enemy is making an attempt to break through this, so
By your command! Grecian warriors! Double time!
you guys are taking a lot of javelins from somewhere. That's not great.
Melee infantry at your command! Galatian!
Bring up these naked fanatics and try and get them fighting around this flank here, maybe.
Galatian nobles!
Infantry!
Let's have you guys fall back into the centre.
Enemy spears!
Let the spear wall take over. They'll be much better at holding this line here. All right, good. Reform the line. What that does is basically it makes the unit push forward a bit into the enemy. Alright, yeah, I don't see any of that breaking through there in any hurry. More concerned about this, really, now.
Deadly missiles! Ready!
Right. God, they've got quite the reserves over here, haven't they? It's very much stopping me from bringing my cavalry back down this way to attack them in the rear. They're still unloading more stuff.
Kills!
I have a feeling they're just going to grind us down with attrition on this one. How are things going over here? Right, they're making their way up the hill. They're meeting the shield wall at the top. We are on a slope, so we're going to have a bit of an advantage from that, which is nice.
By your command! Quick march!
Actually, no, you guys stay like that. You guys over here, that's what I meant. It's a very small unit of archers, but maybe they can do some good. What do they got? Medium spear infantry, medium melee infantry. They're probably alright, these guys, but I think they might be off of a ship or something, so there's not going to be very many of them. Actually, no, the unit size is 200. Look at all the javelins sticky in those shields. We're not going to make it through this battle without taking some pretty horrific casualties. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Our hidden units
The question is,
have
can
been
we even
discovered.
win at this point?
Behind it for blood and battle!
If we can survive this battle, Magarix can make his way up here to reinforce us, but
Archers!
not before then.
Understood! Missiles awaiting targets!
Concentrate your fire into that mess. I've just been joined by a Colin. Hello, pussycat. What are you doing? I'm going to sit on my lap and watch the battle. Okay. You can do that. If you heard a sort of clattering noise suddenly just then, that's what it was. It was my cat unceremoniously leaping onto the desk and knocking several things over. Right. Where was I? Now then. Yeah, it's a lot of guys. We're pelting them with arrows, but not a lot of them. In melee combat even. Which means this will go on for a while, I think. They've still got more reserves. Like, I feel like I could try and maybe flank round at this point, but like they've got so much in reserve, I don't even think that's worth bothering. Alright, some of the Thuriaphoi are wavering. That's not good. Let's try and pop a rally. Yeah, withdraw them a little bit here. Do we have some? We do have some Thracian mercenaries we can chuck in. Alright. How are we doing? You losing decisively. That's not what I like to see. Combat even. Let's bring you guys back out of there. We're going to send in the Thracians. Must be getting tired as well, is the thing. In you go, boys. Get your nice charge bonus. Have at 'em. Didn't quite charge in exactly the direction I wanted you to, but okay, fine. Thracians battling each other with their two-handers. Very cool. These are interesting. Like, that's a very... This helmet this guy's wearing here. Let me just pause for a second. That helmet right there. It looks like... I don't know what, like, era this unit is supposed to be from, but these helmets look very kind of... like... you know... 4th, 5th century AD rather than the time period we're in right now, but maybe it's a much older design than I thought it was. I don't know. I'm used to seeing those kind of helmets in Attila. Alright. Trying to get an overview of where all my units are and what's going on. The enemy's making very little progress over here, I'm happy to say. Well, if I'd known how this was going to go, obviously probably would have deployed my entire shield wall just covering this, which would have been much better, but alas, I couldn't really predict it. You guys actually, like, you should be attacking. There we go. There we go. The reform the line thing only works when you've given them an actual attack order on an enemy unit, so... Everything's going over here. You guys holding the line? You've taken a battering though. Oh, and they're starting to waver. That's not good. Send in the Thracians. Try and back them up a bit. This is a problem.
Our men flee the field of battle.
Who's running?
This is a shameful display.
Which one of you bastards is running?
Galatian.
I'm going to bring some of these naked fanatics over here. The enemy seems to have completely ignored that end of the battlefield, so...
Ready for orders.
We've got a couple of militia units over here we can use as well. Very tiny, but, you know. Alright, you guys over here.
An entire unit has perished.
Bloody hell, okay. on, Adbitos. Hold the alignment. God, that's a lot they've got coming in there, isn't it? Jesus. Alright, they've started. I think they've piled in a lot of their reserves here. Wondering now we can get some use out of this little unit of cavalry. Who else is running now? Oh god, it's these guys as well. The Thracians are just legging it.
Heavy spears! We'll kill them all! What's up, me brothers?
Is that the general's unit? It looks like it kind of is. Killing him wouldn't be a bad idea.
Orders! By your command!
Do you know what I think? Might be time to unleash the hounds.
Sons of God! Ready and eager!
Our men flee the field of battle.
Oh god, this is looking ropey.
Shameful display.
There go the Doges. Don't know how well this is going to work, but let's hope for the best. Give the enemy a bit of a shock at least. Oh no, more routing units. This is not good.
We'll kill them all! Warriors! Ready! Warriors! Withdraw! Wallow!
Going in for fanatics, do you think?
Ready! Go! Wallow! Sword!
Right, these are the noble swordsmen, right? Let's bring you guys over here.
Commander! We are gold! Our spears are yours!
How the Dysartai doing? Okay, it's the best I can offer, really. Alright, cavalry. See if we can do something useful with you. Or are you guys just getting shot? I think you might be just getting shot, I'm not sure.
Right wings advance! Charge!
Oh god, yeah, they're just getting mown down by archers. Or whatever these guys are. Light missile infantry. Ugh.
Withdraw!
This is looking like a lost cause, I'm afraid, at the moment, folks. Our guys just won't stop running.
Balls of gold.
Galatians! Missile infantry at your command!
Right, you guys charge into them. How are you guys doing? You're fresh, at least. The enemy is winded. The difference in fatigue makes it makes a big difference sometimes. So, although I see another one of our units is wavering and now
Flee
running.
the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Ready! We're coming now! Galatians!
Yeah, I don't have much to add at this point, other than I think we've probably had it.
Heavy spears!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
There's just too many enemies. If we'd maybe changed this up a bit and we'd had, like I said, the spear wall over here, this maybe would have gone better for us, but honestly, I don't know. We're talking save scum territory at that point, really, so... And I think a lot of it might have come down to placement of obstacles as well, because I think that probably influences where the AI decides to make its attack.
Pull back!
I also didn't know exactly where the main army was coming from, actually. I didn't know if it was going to come in from over here or over up there, which is where it did come in the end. In fact, I wasn't entirely sure they weren't all on transport ships either, so... Oh, dear. Alright, folks, that's all she wrote, I'm afraid. Yeah, the main line broke. Adbitos started running. He actually was killed while running away. The fool. Wasn't able to capture the exact moment it happened on camera. Actually, very difficult to get good cinematic shots during a defeat because friggin' Marcus constantly pops up in the left-hand corner to say, "A unit is running away! A unit has been destroyed!" You're just getting in the way. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. I'm glad they got rid of this guy in the corner when they made Attila. Because, gosh, he's a pain in the arse in this game when you're trying to get good shots for YouTube. Alright, end battle. How many of them did we manage to bring down with us? Quite a lot of them. Yeah, quite a lot of them. Nearly 2,000 of them we killed. In fact, they lost just over 2,000. I think a lot of that was due to friendly fire on their part. So that's like a third of their army destroyed. Army and fleet, actually, come to think of it. I think they lost a general during that as well. One of their generals died in the midst of that melee. So, yeah. Things that went badly in that battle, well, basically, we needed the shield wall somewhere where it wasn't. I didn't have any way predicting where we'd need it most, though, so never mind. And also, I think the fact that I just wasn't paying attention and the chariots mostly got murdered was also a problem. Although there were so many enemies, I'm not convinced how much of a job the chariots would have really done in the end. If I'd had maybe 2 or 3 units of chariots, then we would have been talking, but I only had the 1, and they were quite depleted from the previous battle to begin with, so... Oh well, never mind. Anthea is friggin' cursed. Nobody can defend this city, apparently. There we go. They captured nearly 500 of our guys as well. Alright, well, Magarix will soon hear word of that, I imagine. Perhaps Adbitos' head will be delivered to his doorstep. Either way, I'm sure he won't be very happy about it. And yes, the adrisians will reap the whirlwind in due course, I hope. Well, folks, it's August of 269 BC, and we have a new army in the making over here.
Thirsty for battle.
This army is led by Britomaros. He's of the Tectosigas, so he's of our particular tribe. He's one of Magarix's guys. He's raising a new army currently over in Pessinus at the moment. Let's take a little look at the guy. His main skill that he's unique that's unique to him is tenacity. If you cut him with a knife, he'll come back with a spear. He'll keep coming until one of you is dust. +1 zeal. And plus 10% chance of wounding enemy agents in self-defense. His other traits are he's a noble, obviously. He was a labourer. That was his upbringing and education, which is quite interesting. Not really relevant as a general, more so as a governor, that one. His personality type, though, is histrionic, which is a bit of a shame. Sentimental, melodramatic, and flamboyant. So he's not very stable, this fellow. He's not very stable, but obviously a little bloody-minded when he he holds grudges, I think, this chap. +3 growth per turn local province, -15% public order penalties due to local presence, foreign cultures, plus -8% morale for all units during defensive battles, and +8% construction costs for the local province. Not a great trait to have, histrionic, but we're just going to have to work with it. Old Britomaros has come along to replace Adbitos. I don't know if he's going to be any better or worse, really, at this point. Magarix has moved his army up here to the Bosphorus to prevent these guys from coming across, although really we want to counterattack as soon as possible. Next turn, I think. Some of his units are going to be replenished this turn, hopefully. I've got Wenadotia back in the army training the troops, which actually I noticed increased their replenishment rate when I moved her in there, which is interesting. And over here, Caxtos and his boys stand ready to wipe out the last of the Absinthioi who were up here currently raiding and suffering from attrition. So that's the next order of business, everybody. We're going to wipe out the Absinthioi, then Caxtos can come over here and join Magarix, and then I think at that point it'll be a bit of a battle still, I suspect, but the days of the Adrisians are very much numbered at that point. My plan is to take Anthea back, then we'll take Odessos, but I think what I want to do is I want to turn Odessos into a not I say puppet state, you can't do that as the Galatians, but I want to liberate Odessos, I think, so that it's a buffer between us and everything that's north of the Danube that I don't want to mess with. You know, all the Dacians and Sarmatians and the Scythians, you know, all the nomad stuff. Yeah, not interested. Someone else can guard the Danube, not my business. So I don't want Odessos. We're going to liberate that, I think, is my plan, but we'll keep Anthea, and then from there we'll obviously be heading west. I don't know either to deal with our Talister-Bogey cousins over here, or simply to bypass them entirely and look at invading Macedonia, which is currently ruled by the Illyrian tribes still, apparently. Well, a combination of the Illyrians and the Romans at the moment. But the Illyrians definitely have the lion's share of it. I believe the Illyrians... Oh, little pop-up about Athens there. I don't think they have a formal alliance of any kind with Rome, do they? They're military allies with the Liburnoi, who we've no idea who they are or where they are. They're not allies with Rome, so Rome theoretically will probably not interfere with us if we decide to fight these guys. Be quite a fight, though. You know, they're probably the largest faction that we've gone to war with, aside from the Seleucids. But the Seleucids, you know, they were being attacked by absolutely everybody on the planet, so that was a very different experience. The whole battle to dismantle the Seleucid Empire kind of reminded me of doing a crusade in Medieval 2 Total War. It was a bit nuts. Yeah, so let's get rid of these guys, shall we? What do they got? Nothing amazing, but we shouldn't underestimate them, should we? We've obviously, this is Caxtos, so he's got his big cavalry force, which hopefully will be useful today. Let's hope for the best. Alright, boys and girls, we're ready to go. We're up here on this hill. We've seized the higher ground in this battle, which is nice, although we may have to come down off it, actually. It depends on what the enemy decides to do. Our usual formation is, in effect, shield wall in the middle, Thurius guys on the flanks. I think in my future army compositions, I'm going to start leaning more towards having more of the shield wall guys and fewer of these, to tell you the truth, because these guys are just so much more useful in defensive battles. Anyway, back behind them we've got Caxtos himself overseeing everything. In the middle, we've got his units of Rhodian mercenary slingers behind them, baggage train behind them as well. And then over here in the woods on the right flank, we have all the cavalry and the chariots lined up behind them as well. I'm hoping to just pull off a huge flanking attack with the cavalry and absolutely murderize the enemy in this battle, really, is the plan. Standard stuff as far as Caxtos is concerned, you know. Question is, what's the enemy going to do? I think I'm going to have everybody march, at least. We're going to advance. Maybe about this far, I reckon. Let's go, everybody. Alright, here we go. The enemy's starting to advance up towards us through these woods here. Which is a bit annoying, actually, because the woods are obviously going to cause our cavalry some issues. But the enemy's definitely on the move now. I'm going to have you guys pivot a little bit to the right here. Because inevitably there's going to be a cavalry attack. Alright, you boys. Speed it up, pick up the pace. They're happy to exchange javelin fire with our infantry at the moment.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
I believe the trees might... I don't know if the trees give us any cover from incoming missiles in this game. That might be more of an Attila thing, I'm not really sure. Here they come. The slingers doing their thing? I hope they are. I think they are, yeah. These are slinger bullets going down this hill here. Bring you guys over here, actually. Maybe if I can
Double time. Fire.
get you to fire at those Jav Cav. That'd be nice.
Missiles ready and waiting. We'll kill
let's
them all.
not leave our cavalry unattended over here. Okay, I see the enemy's pivoted a bit to sort of try and ward us off a little. The question is... Alright, those are some spearmen for sure there, but I'm wondering if the rest is really actually up to the job of repelling a cavalry attack of quite this magnitude, really. And I'm willing to bet probably not.
Ready for battle. Nathan, run.
Seems they're not willing to come up any further. They've sort of marched up halfway through the woods here, but that's about it. Looks like our slingers are doing some work here on these guys. That's good.
Missile infantry ready.
Oh, they're moving around again. They're all on the shuffle.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Hunger for blood and battle. We'll kill them all.
There's missile cavalry. There they are.
Lead now.
Let's just advance and make them fall back. And the chariots are chucking their own javelins. That's good.
Eager for blood. We'll kill them.
Just really want the enemy to commit in the middle. Alright, nice. The slingers have chased off those Jav Cav.
Loose. Missile infantry at your command.
Do you know what? Take some pot shots at their general. Why not?
The men are wavering.
Who's wavering? Not the chariots again. My god. You leave him alone for 2 seconds.
Warriors ready. Ready to ride.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of javelins. Man, the Thracians love their javelins, don't they? Even more than us. Can't get near them, can you, without being pelted by hundreds of the things.
Get running.
This is not going to work. This whole flank attack here is a disaster waiting to happen. Let's get you guys to charge in there, maybe kill a few guys, and then we're going to pull everybody out. Everybody withdraw. I need the enemy to commit, and they're not committing, and it's extremely irritating. Oh, they've attacked a little bit up here, but that's it. Just that little token effort. Ah, and the cavalry are doing that thing again where they decide they're actually not going to retreat.
We have no fear.
Come on, guys. I think from now on... No, come on, move. From now on, I'm not putting the chariots on the flanks or out in the open anymore. They're going to sit behind the shield wall like they used to, because otherwise they just end up dying through a combination of my negligence and enemy javelins.
The enemy general is
Oh,
dead.
nice! We got a slinger shot on him. That's beautiful. But if he was just going to stand there and take it, we might as well have obliged him, I suppose. Let's get you guys moving out here and trying to surround these boys. Oh yeah, that's right. You realise you've suddenly made a huge mistake, you stupid Jav Cav. There we go. Come on, guys. Just need to catch him, and then we've
One
got
of our
him.
units has used all its ammunition.
Just... Or you could rout them. That works too, I suppose.
Spears.
Are they finally coming up the hill? It doesn't look like it. They're just milling around down there on that slope in the woods. Alright, bring it back, bring it back. Let's not let them draw us into another fight. Meanwhile, over here, you boys are wavering. Yeah, okay, good.
The Rayos. Moving. Battle ready and eager.
Still got more javelins being chucked at us.
And your shields up.
Yeah, you know what? Shield wall. Try and keep some of those
Our general is
enemy
under attack.
projectiles out. Don't you dare throw a javelin at Caxtos. That's not allowed. March you boys over here. Just out the trot. No need to rush. Get your stamina back a bit. While the enemy continues to move around in a blob in the woods, tiring themselves out. Are they finally coming up the hill? No, it doesn't look like it. They just want to continue chucking javelins at me. That seems to be the whole Thracian strategy in every battle. Throw all of the javelins. Just keep throwing javelins until the enemy gives up. Problem is, a lot of these javelins are coming from units that are very well protected from enemy cavalry. It's a little frustrating. They aren't just like your bog standard skirmishers throwing all these javelins, it's their actual infantry units. Alright, looks like this unit of Thracians have decided they've had enough. That's okay, you guys get back into formation. Don't go running down there after them. I said don't go down running down. Some of my guys are clearly disobeying orders here. That's very irritating, but never mind. How are the slingers doing? You guys got any ammo left? Yes, you've got plenty is the answer. Why? Oh, maybe no, not actually. It's the blue bar. No, the blue bar's ammo. 100% ammo. So why? It's acting like they don't have ammo, but the UI says they do. That's a little strange, but okay, fine. Also, I put a unit of slingers in the middle of a melee for some reason. Get back, you imbeciles. Okay, so let's get out around here. What do they got hanging out at the back here? These guys, I'm wondering if we can get a cheeky cavalry charge on them while they're milling around at the back. Let's get over here. I'm going to try and use you to chase some guys off if necessary. I think we've got the enemy a little confused on account of the fact that we've got so many units in front and behind them. They don't really know what to do. Normally I wouldn't recommend charging spearmen in the face, but with this overwhelming superiority, it seems to have worked. They're only very light spear infantry after all. Alright, let's get back out again, we'll cycle charge. Cavalry in the woods is obviously annoying to deal with. Woods are annoying to deal with in Total War games full stop, actually. One of my favourite features from the very newest games they've been doing, like Warhammer and Troy, is that they have an option so you can make the damn trees disappear, so it's just the tree trunks. Alright, Caxtos, let's see if you can catch these little boys here before the Thracians notice. They're trying to reposition, but maybe we can get there. Upper woods are slowing them down so much, though. Well, that's something at least. No time to stick around, though, really. Yep. Get back up the hill. Oh my god, what is happening here? Alright, just... Enough of that, thank you. guys are dropping like flies. That's good. And they're wavering.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Nothing's going up here. Oh, you guys are... Caxtos is being very stubborn and doesn't want to withdraw. You guys can cover his retreat in that case. God, you really have to babysit cavalry when you're telling them to withdraw, don't you? It's tricky to deal with. Alright, let's bring the shield wall down the hill. Let's just try and get the enemy surrounded. No.
The battle is
Come on.
turning in our favor.
What are these guys? I'm not sure what even type what type of unit they even are, but whatever. Guys to flank around the sides. They're already wavering. Everything's going up here in the woods. Alright, you guys withdraw. Let the shield wall do its thing. You boys on the flanks, get in there. These javelin guys are chucking javelins at you, but they won't be for much longer. Okay, good. You guys are hitting the flanks. Bring you guys in to do the same there. Are you? Ah, right, you're more Thurius infantry. Very good. Caxtas, let's bring you up here. You guys all just disintegrating these missile infantry. Good. They are now running away. Got the enemy penned in on the hillside now. I think a good cavalry charge right up the gut should finish this off. Even if it is through the woods. Yeah, it's definitely doing the job. Whoa. Who was chucking javelins there? You shouldn't have been. Never mind. It's over, we did it. Yeah, you guys stop that right now. Dearie me. Okay, double sound effects for the win. Faction destroyed, Absinthioi. Caxtos' claws have leveled up. And I think due to some sort of bug there, the faction destroyed dialogue popping up basically skipped us straight through the post-battle interface. That was a little odd. But I can tell you that we lost about 500 guys. Most of that was our cavalry who got a bit mauled. Somehow, 27 chariots actually survived. However, at this point, I'm really considering getting rid of them and replacing them with probably an extra unit of Calreos guys. They'd serve us a lot better, I think. Either way, though, Caxtos has got rid of the last of the Absinthioi. Let's move him off this way to join up with Magarix, and we'll level up his army as well. Why not? Is there anything here that will help with replenishment rate? Let's get that. What else interesting here? Dread Marauders? Nah. Rampart Takers? Nah. Ambush Battles? We don't do a lot of those. We really should, though. In fact, If Magarix has got the points for it, I'd like to put him in the ambush stance just to see what happens. In case the enemy tries to cross the Bosporus. Let's get Hearth Bear Guard again. More campaign map movement range is always good as well. Magarix, can you stance ambush? Let's give it a try. Although you're going to get... Yeah, your units will still replenish. Okay, good. So I'm hoping maybe the adrisians will decide to march across the Bosphorus in the following turn, and then we can get an ambush battle on him, which is probably what I should have done when I was guarding the place with Adbitos in the first place, but hey, never mind. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I really should do ambush battles more often. They're a really, really handy tool in Rome 2, and I just forget they exist sometimes. I honestly do. Never mind. Right, ladies and gentlemen. That's about it for this turn. Well, this is certainly interesting, isn't it? Rome just got in touch with us, demanding a gift of 2,790 gold. That smells an awful lot like protection money to me. The answer is no. Romanes eunt domus, and all that.
The Senate may well be saddened by your choice, for they are men of deep, honest feelings.
Yeah, well, screw their deep, honest feelings. I don't care. Oh, hello. Looks like the Ptolemies have decided to start policing the Mediterranean again. Good for them. I wasn't about to do it. Means I can disband some of my mercenary ships guarding roads now. Save a bit of money. Very nice. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here's the ambush we've been waiting for. Interesting to note, actually, that both times the enemies attacked across the Bosphorus like this, they offered us peace before they did it. I'm sure it's just, you know, monkeys on typewriters, but it's nice to infer from that the notion that the adrisians are sort of quite an honourable folk. They're sort of like formally approach us before each battle and are like, right, we offer you peace. Do you want to reject it? In which case we shall fight. They're very much like the way the Roman general Belisarius is described, actually, in the historical sources. He always gave his enemies the option to surrender before he attacked them, even when it was a bad idea to actually let them know he was coming. Anyway, we've got the ambush, basically. The enemies failed to spot our ambush. Attack now, and the element of surprise will give you the upper hand. Caxtos is nearby, however, because it's an ambush battle. I don't believe he'll be reinforcing us. So it's just a slugging match, our stack versus theirs, against Cotis of the Kingdom of the Adrisians. His army looks very much like the ones we faced before, although, oddly enough, they do have some Galatian mercenaries with them. Yeah, a lot of it, though, is... Yeah, not to be sniffed at. Obviously, it's the bloody Thracians, so they'll have about 10,000 javelins with them. Which will be a pain to deal with, I'm sure, but hey, this is Magarix's army. This is the Doom Pigs. We're veterans. You look at all those chevrons. I think we can take them, especially since it's an ambush, so let's do this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go. The ambush is about to be sprung. As you can see, we've set up a few things here. We've got these fireballs, specifically. Big balls of straw. Set light to them, send them rolling down the hill, causes some havoc, hopefully. This is the enemy column walking up through the middle here, and this is how things look. Basically, as soon as I hit start battle, the ambush is sprung, and this is what we're dealing with. I've got the shield wall up on this hill here with the little fireballs ready to chuck down there. Behind them are our archers and the baggage train to give them some extra ammunition. I've got a unit of skirmishers over here to chuck some javelins. Over in the woods on the opposite side, hidden behind this hill, we've got most of the Thurius infantry ready to go surging up over the top of this hill and down into the enemy from the other side. We have along here the naked fanatics, who are going to go charging into the midst of this, which at the moment is sort of a lot of their very light infantry and also their cavalry at the back here. Speaking of cavalry, got one of our rather depleted units of cavalry here, as well as Magarix and another unit of cavalry here to basically try and rush in and pin down these Jav Cav as fast as possible is the idea. I don't know how well that will really work, but we'll give it a go. Over on this other side here, we've got one last unit of Thurius infantry. We've got the noble swordsman, and then, you know, obviously the shield wall right there. And that's pretty much how it looks. I feel, now it's all laid out like this, it sort of feels oddly inadequate, actually, but hopefully it'll be alright. I thought about sort of just loading up on one side of the thing here and you know, just fighting at very close range with a straightforward battle with us versus them. But then I decided, you know, why throw away the advantage of potentially being able to hit the enemy in the rear, I guess. These guys are hiding in the woods, so the enemy won't necessarily know about them. I'm hoping maybe they'll commit and try and come up here and attack the shield wall, in which case, once they do that, we spring the ambush over here. They will be able to see the naked fanatics, mind you, and whatnot, so don't know how well that will necessarily work. It is awfully tempting, actually, therefore, to move these guys across from that side and go over here. But to be honest with you, expecting the Total War AI to react rationally to any kind of situation is probably a mistake. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just keep them surrounded on both sides and keep them penned in, because honestly, like, if I put everything over here in these woods to try and hide them, who knows what the AI is going to do? They're not going to react rationally. It's the Total War AI, you know. So we're going to try it like this. I hope this is the right call. We're going to find out. Either way, we're going to be able to fight the enemy from both sides. We'll have them surrounded, and that ultimately is going to be a big advantage, I think. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Wish me luck.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
There go the flaming balls of death. The enemy is, yes, they're doing a mixture of things. Some of them are going this way, some of them are going the other way. AI being the AI is reacting a lot faster than I am to this situation, honestly.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Allow me to pause for a moment. Right. Cavalry. That's Jav Cav, isn't it? No point in trying to chase that on foot. You boys get up here as well. Okay, it's beginning. We're doing this. If you get you guys like chucking your javelins like right there, reform the line, and then let's have you guys form up like that. Okay, so far so good. Let's see. Let's give some more orders to the archers and stuff. Like that. Like that. Although arguably, actually, better idea to have them attack them from behind. Alright, unpause. You guys chucking your javelins in there? You are good. Yeah, you guys are getting arrows in the back. Nice. Alright, the Noble Cav's getting stuck into the Jav Cav. They should hopefully win this.
Our general is under attack.
Yeah, we know, we know. He knows what he's doing, I hope. How are you guys doing? Combat even. Be nice if you were doing a little bit better than combat even, but it'll have to do. Push down the hill. Excellent. This is doing exactly what I want it to do. Concentrate your fire like that, though.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Might be the javelin guys probably used all their ammo, I reckon. Right, let's try and get them down there, and they can flank someone and attack from the rear. They're only skirmishers, but if they're attacking the enemy in the rear, they might still do something useful. Alright, cavalry form up here. We're going to charge these guys right in the back, because our Thurius infantry are a little outnumbered here right now. Let's give them a hand. Alright, we've got some enemies starting to rout. That's good. These Jav cav are getting quite close. I wonder if we can catch them.
Units has used all its ammunition.
No, they're withdrawing. Okay. Oh, I see. Some of the enemies have turned around to come and attack our skirmishers. Interesting. How did you end up behind my shield wall? That's impressive. Get out. Abandon the shield wall. Just spread out and attack. The archer's out of ammo. Those ones are, certainly.
The men are wavering.
Who's wavering? That's probably the skirmishers, isn't it? Down that hill and get after them. What about our cav? How are we getting on over here? Where's Magarix ended up? Don't tell me Magarix is running away. Did he get pelted with arrows or something and is now running? Oh my god, I bet he did. I wasn't even looking and he's just disappeared somewhere now. How are you getting this mauled by Jav cav? It makes no sense. I don't see him anywhere on the bar here. Well, the enemy general's dead. I think ours is still alive. Presumably, though, Magarix has just decided to book it out of here. I don't see him anywhere. I don't know what happened. You take your eyes off him for 5 seconds and then suddenly he's gone. He's just gone. Right, you guys are getting attacked from both sides. This is not good. I don't quite know how that's managed to occur, but we need to do something about it. And he's going over here. Noble Cav are chopping the way through the Jav Cav, and we have won the battle. At what cost, though? Archers, you can get down there. You can start chasing the enemy down. On foot, you're faster than them, so. Well, the enemy's scattering. Don't know what's happened to Magarix, though. Well, that's done. Magarix is very much still alive, although there's a lot of it. The same can't be said about a lot of his bodyguard. I do not know what happened to them. They lost 142 men somewhere in the middle of that absolutely chaotic melee there, and I just never even noticed it. Oh boy, you know, the crazy thing is, DEI has slower battles, like noticeably much slower battles than the vanilla game. I shudder to think how that would have gone if we were playing the vanilla game. It's a common problem I have with newer Total War games. The battles are way too quick. They're way too quick. I can't keep track of everything, and stuff ends up dying, and I make horrible mistakes. And up to a point, I'm okay with that, but sometimes something like that happens, and it's just like I didn't even get to witness it. And it drives me kind of nuts. I tell you, when Total Warfare comes out, I am looking forward to that game, but one of the first things I'm going to be doing is looking on the workshop for a mod that makes the battles longer, because I don't know why Creative Assembly has an obsession with battles that take 3 minutes to resolve, but I hate it, personally. It's probably why I play a lot more Field of Glory 2 these days, rather than Total War. Turn-based, I can take as long as I want with it. Anyway, we'll enslave these guys, I think, yep. I'm just glad Magarix survived, that's the main thing.
Epona, watch over this traveler.
We lost about 800 men during that, by the way, in case you weren't able to see that on the screen.
Would surely see all prosper. Will you agree to trade?
That's interesting. Yes, the Scythians want to trade with us. I am very much okay with that. Brilliant. More money. I want to do a Scythian campaign at some point, actually. They're a super interesting faction. They are one of the very few factions in the game that have female generals, oddly enough, because there is archaeological evidence of female Scythian soldiers and leaders and stuff.
People, well versed in the uses of wealth and power. And so we love gold.
They're also a cavalry-focused faction, I believe, and I love cavalry factions in Total War, so... you what? You want me to give you 9 grand? No, go away. Screw you, man. Anyway, so that battle here we lost about 800, actually slightly less than 900 guys, which is a bit oof. But the enemy got absolutely massacred in return, and I was sitting on the loading screen there, thinking to myself, would it not have been better to just not be in ambush stance and have him and Caxtor stood there guarding the Bosphorus? But the truth is, if we'd done that, the enemy wouldn't have attacked. Because they wouldn't have been able to, it would have been 1 stack versus 2. The AI would never have taken that. So, ambush, by going into ambush, it allowed them to sort of operate under the misapprehension that it was just Caxtos here. So across they came, they got ambushed, and now I believe we have the advantage now because they've lost an entire stack now. So, hello, what's this? The Iberian Loricati reforms. The Iberians have reached a new military reform. The Iberians are all the way over here in what is modern-day Spain. So this is about as irrelevant to us as it gets, but still interesting to note. There was a reform for the Germanic tribes as well, all the way up in Germania a few turns ago as well. I didn't actually record it because it wasn't super relevant, but hey. The Greek and Roman rivals, highly disciplined Iberian soldiers are now outfitted with heavier armour. That's the general trend with a lot of these barbarian faction reforms. It's just like, after a certain number of terms, they discover the concept of armour. So, yeah, that's the Germanic reforms are like as well. I'd like to play a Germanic faction, actually, although, to tell you the truth, I think it's far more fun to play as the Germans in Attila. In sort of the 5th century. You know, where you've got you've got the Franks, you've got the Burgundians, you've got the Goths, all the really big, nasty tribes that ended up dismantling the Roman Empire in the long course of things and forming the modern Europe we know today. Well, they laid the foundations of the Europe we know today at the very least. But yeah, I'll level with you. Actually, one of the options for doing a Total War campaign on this channel that I was considering, and it's one that I'm going to consider for the future as well. Actually, is I really like to do an Attila campaign as either the Ostrogoths or the Visigoths, and sack Rome and destroy the Western Roman Empire, and effectively become the successor state of the Western Roman Empire, which is pretty much what the Goths did for a period, actually, under Theodoric the Great. He was basically, in all but name, a Roman emperor, and even his contemporaries called him that, essentially. He ruled with the blessing of the Eastern Romans. They had an informal, actually it might have been a formal understanding, now that I think about it, between Constantinople and Theodoric and Rome. He's often considered by some historians to be kind of like a non-Roman Roman emperor, because he ruled a big chunk of, he reconquered what a lot of the Western Romans had lost, because he had Italy, and then he reconquered a lot of southern Gaul, a lot of Spain. I can't remember if he ever conquered much of Africa. I don't think so. I think that was the Vandals' territory, but he ruled a lot of land before he popped his clogs, did old Theodoric. Anyway, tangent aside, you just click through these. Heroic Saviour, King Magnus. Oh, that is so appropriate considering what just happened in that battle. I'd like to think this guy actually managed to save his life in the midst of that chaos. Should we equip that? I feel like we should equip that. Feels very appropriate. Heroic Saviour, which slot does it go in? Those in this one, so we'll get rid of the Tattooed Madman and replace it with Heroic Saviour. Plus 8% chance of wounding enemy agents, self-defense, and plus 4% morale for the commander's unit. Not the best bonuses ever, just, my god, it feels very appropriate. Right. Okay. Haven't been as badly mauled as I thought. However, I'm feeling very conservative after having, you know, after Adbitos did his thing over there. Adbitos give me back my legions, etc. Abelios, can you... Oh man, you don't have enough movement points, do you? I don't want to detach Wenadotia because I think she gives a replenishment bonus to this army. But I'd really love to know what's going on up in Odessos. I really like to know exactly what I'm dealing with right now. But do you know what, actually? As loath as I am now to march blindly onwards, I'm really reasonably sure they can't have much more up there waiting for us. We should probably strike while the iron is hot. But I'm beginning to feel like Anthea is a cursed city, man. Like, nobody can hold on to it for very long. This is our other army here, the Mountain Men, led by, what was his name again? Britamaros? Yeah, I've been recruiting. As you can see, a slightly larger than usual shield wall contingent, because I feel like these are some of our most useful troops, more so than the Thurius infantry. I got some noble swordsmen for him as well. I'm considering at the moment what else to get him. We can't actually recruit any cavalry in this province, so I'll have to go elsewhere for that, or recruit some mercenaries, of course. Not that there are any great cavalry options in this neck of the woods. We can get some Cretan archers, though. That's not a bad idea. What else they got here? Carian, mercenary spearmen, Cretan infantry. Nothing particularly amazing here, really. It was Greek mercenary pikemen, although I struggle to figure out exactly how we'd fit them into our army. It just doesn't feel right, somehow. A couple of units of Cretan archers, though. That will go for. And... one more unit of Kareos, and we'll start recruiting some Thurius infantry. The bigger shield wall is the option I'm increasingly liking more and more. I think we'll get him some naked fanatics as well, maybe a couple of units, because those guys are still pretty useful, I think. Right. Caxtos, you can move up there. Do I want to wait a turn and get these guys replenished a bit more, though, is the question. I might merge you two. There we go, merge them, and we'll disband them. It's a real shame that in this game you can't just detach a unit and reinforce it later. It's not the way it works, though, so we'll get rid of them. Let's see if there is any good mercenaries we could bring. There's some Cappadocian hired lancers knocking about. Alright, we'll use them then. I'm increasingly falling out of love with the Cappadocian lancers. They just don't... They seem great on paper. They never seem very good in practice. But we'll bring them along anyway. The rest of these guys I'm going to leave in their slightly depleted state for now. We'll just have to live with it, including the poor skirmishers who've got a real mauling back there. Although... Can we replace the skirmishers with anything? We can get some mercenary Thracian peltasts, but... Nah. Nah, let's bring you up here.
Starting out. I live to serve the people of Gaul.
They've got a fleet in port, interestingly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done for today anyway, because I've got to go do a stream later today. In fact, probably about less than an hour from now, so we're going to wrap this up today. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed. Thanks very much for tuning in. And when we come back next time, hopefully we'll take Anthea, and we'll take it for good this time. I'm inclined... I don't know, I'll decide next time exactly what I want to do, but I'm inclined at the minute to just sort of stand here menacingly and see if anything else comes down from the south. Down south from the north, I mean. To engage us before moving any further, because I don't want to make the same mistake we made last time, which is to try and take Anthea, and then immediately get dogpiled on by everything coming down from the north. Because that's what happened to Adbitos. And Magarix is smarter than that, so... We have to roleplay Magarix as being a little smarter than that. Him and Caxtos, really. Otherwise, if all our generals acted like Adbitos did, this campaign wouldn't have lasted very long. You know, in a Total War campaign, you have to have the central conceit being that your leader is pretty good at his job. Otherwise, your campaign would be a bit of a short one. So, yeah. Anyway, and yeah, we're going to keep recruiting this army over here. I'm considering getting rid of... Oh, hang on a minute. Right, yeah, the pirates haven't actually gone yet. I had to restart the game again. I had during the last end turn sequence, it got to the adrisians and the game completely froze up, which meant I had to reload the autosave and do the end turn sequence again. Everything happened almost exactly the same. The Romans demanded some protection money, you know. The adrisians came along to attack. They gave us the peace ultimatum, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that was different is, for some reason, the Ptolemies didn't attack the pirates last turn. Don't know why that happened differently this time, but I guess I'm not disbanding my mercenary ships anytime soon. We're going to have to keep them for the moment, as much as they are a drain on my economy. Quite a substantial one too, really, when you add them all up together. I do need them there, otherwise the pirates will immediately attack Rhodes and take it. But as long as we've got this little fleet here, they seem very not keen on the idea. They're just going to hang around. I don't have enough mercenary ships or ships of good quality enough anyway to take on this pirate fleet. I'm pretty much just hoping the Ptolemies will get around to it themselves. They're a big naval power, the Ptolemies. I think they have some of the biggest ships in the game, if I recall correctly. When it comes to naval power, they're pretty much like... I mean, the big three, I'd say, are probably Rome, Carthage, and the Ptolemies in this game when it comes to naval rosters. They're a big deal. Maybe Athens at a push. And Rhodes get a special mention because they have those Rhodian slingers on ships, which are quite good, apparently. But, yeah, it's really all about Rome, Carthage, and the Ptolemies when it comes to the naval stuff. And that's why I'm glad to have the Ptolemies on my side for the moment. So I can basically lean on them for policing the Mediterranean and get rid of pirates, in theory, anyway. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I've babbled enough. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.